My first
It'll make me happy.
I guess, right?
Yeah.
As long as you got some, as long as you got something to do.
Yeah, we got to be good at something. Blake, I don't want to take up all of Mick's availability. So if you got some more you want to talk to about, Toby or anything else, feel free.
Me or Mick? Who? Which one?
Blake, I'm letting you jump in with Mick for whatever you need to jump in.
Mick will call me on a daily basis or a fairly regular basis. Anyway, we talk often, so we anything else I need to talk to him about, I guess I can always just call him up and talk to him or whatever. But he kind of put it out there what the essence of the first hour this was about Tobe Hooper and that brilliant but somewhat standoffish kind of attitude that he had towards people and towards filmmaking, and I think Mick kind of put it really well and summed it up very nicely. As someone who worked with him on something as much of a pop culture phenomenon as Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street. That's just one thing. We haven't talked about Poltergeist, and we haven't talked about any of the other
Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot or The Mangler, and it's odd to me because Toby and Robert Englund worked together quite often in a lot of different films. Eaten Alive, which was like, a really, really awesome low-budget horror movie, and Mick talked about working on low budgets and how sometimes that can affect the mood on set, and affect how the interaction is with people on the set and all that kind of thing. And that's totally true even to today. I've got friends that are working actors that tell me that the mood is just like that. It's like you go in there and, we're over budget by, a few $1,000 or a few $100,000 or a few million, whatever, and everybody's racing to get the film finished and we keep finding something, it's left out. So.
On Nightmare on Elm Street 4, I had a budget of $80,000, and I wound up spending $1.1 million.
Oh, shit.
Whoopsie.
Big money.
That's awesome.
The thing is, I kept saying, guys, you don't have a writer. You've got a great DP. You got a director that's giving you the stunning look that you want, and you got these great sets. You don't have much else. So tell me where I should cut back. Tell me when to stop, and I'll go home. And nobody ever told me to stop, and so I spent. Way it goes sometimes.
That's good shit.
Sometimes the only way to get out of a hole is to buy your way out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
I hate
listen,
it.
I got somewhere that I got to be.
Mm-hmm.
Blake, I will talk to you. I will talk to you during the week as I usually do. Travis, Vic, call me up sometime, man.
Anytime, buddy. You take care, okay, man? I'll see you in Lexington.
Okay, man. I'll see you there. Bye. See you, Blake.
Later on.
See ya.
And there goes Mick Strawn. Hey, he was awesome, Blake. Thanks again. It was good to talk to him without 12 people talking over each other. So that was, and without whatever technical bullshit we had going on back then. So that was good
Absolutely.
stuff. But I would be remiss if I didn't give Vic the platform now, because Vic deserves it. He loved Tobe Hooper. Vic's a chainsaw guy.
Absolutely, Vic. Open up and speak.
Vic needs to give us a monologue now. Vic, give us a monologue about Tobe Hooper, buddy.
Oh, God, man.
Don't cry.
I fell asleep a couple of times. But Tobe Hooper, I'm still not sure what to say. Tobe Hooper got me into horror movies. He is, obviously responsible for Chainsaw and slashers in general. Without Tobe Hooper, I don't know if I would like horror movies as much as I do, to be quite honest. I've heard so much bad about Tobe, but to me, I said it on Facebook and I'm saying it now, Gunnar Hansen was my hero. Tobe Hooper's it was like a father figure to me. I never met the guy. It might be a good thing that I never met the guy. I have plenty of posters I would love for him to sign. I would have dealt with him being a dickhead because, to be completely honest, man, the last couple of times I met Gunner, I wasn't the happiest. But it is what it is when you meet your heroes. Losing Tobe Hooper is a bigger blow than losing Wes Craven. It was a bigger blow than losing George Romero. It's losing a part of my life that, honestly, I'm just not ready to lose, man. I've thought about it ever since the day it happened, or because I heard about it. It was like 2 a.m. I heard about it, and I sent Travis a message. And I've been thinking about it since then. I didn't really go to sleep that night. I love Tobe Hooper. I love everything he did for horror. And not only Texas Chainsaw Man, he gave us Poltergeist. I don't care what anybody says. He gave us Poltergeist.
And he gave us Texas Chainsaw Massacre, too. To me, the best sequel of the series. And, in my opinion, the best Part 2 ever. In my opinion. And it goes right up against Friday the 13th Part 2 and Halloween Part 2. But I think Texas Chainsaw Part 2 is the best ever. And that's the same director. Who else does that?
Yeah,
Nobody.
It's amazing that, like, he didn't do a lot, but what he did, I mean, it's amazing. Even, like, I don't know if you've ever seen it, Travis, but Eating Alive, I loved it. I've watched it a few times just because it was on Netflix at one point. And I don't know, man. I'm still ate up about it. I think about it daily. Yeah, I mean, Tobe Hooper, you're a god amongst men. I'm drinking for you tonight. I'll drink for you again tomorrow, and I'll probably drink again the next day.
Well, let me throw this out there. You know, he did Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It goes without saying how great that is. I mean, we've talked about it before. And I don't give a shit how he treated his people. I mean, we're not talking about, you know, I don't really care. I know that sounds rude, but I don't, that's not my problem. You know what I'm saying? He didn't kill anybody or molest any kids. So, I mean, I don't care. I'm just saying there's things I can give people a pass for, and that's one of them. I mean, him treating people like crap is like in wrestling when they're like, this guy's an asshole. I don't care. Didn't do it to me. So.
Yep, exactly.
And, okay, so then, you know, 5 years after Texas Chainsaw? I know he did other things like Eating Alive also, but he does Salem's Lot, the TV movie. And I think that's a little bit of an underrated TV movie at that, because it kind of established, like, the look. It kind of, like, took on the Nosferatu look. You know what I'm talking about, Blake?
Absolutely. Yes, it took on the Max Schreck look after Derby of Murnau in 1922. It definitely. It shows that Tobe was well-versed in anything, basically, he put his hands on. And, you know, he studied it, and he studied vampires, and he basically became ingratiated with whatever subject it was he was filming. Whatever the subject matter was, he put himself there. And as much so as, I'll put it this way, there was a scene in Tobe Hooper's Night Terrors that he was trying to get right, and that was done in 1993 with Robert Englund. And he could not get he wanted a scene, and he couldn't get it done right. So what he did was he laid down with a portable camera on a skateboard and propelled himself down the cobblestone streets of Old Jaffa to get this shot exactly the way he wanted to. And he was older. He was in his mid to late 40s then, doing something dangerous, like laying down on a skateboard and propelling himself. Robert Englund is the one who told that story, and, you know, I'm paraphrasing. He propelled himself crab-like down the road in the middle of Israel, you know, American film crew, and you know, an Israeli film crew, and all these other mixed ethnicity film crew people. In order to get just the right shot, he put himself there and gave everything he had. He put it to the max every time, no matter what film or project he worked on, and it shows. In every single one of those, Tobe Hooper put himself into it. My favorite of his later works is The Mangler. You know, he took a just a very short story from Stephen King, and made it into something that will go down to me in history as being probably one of the best, most underrated Stephen King horror adaptations of all time, because it told so much of a story that we didn't get with Stephen King's version. With his film, we got more of Bill Gartley and where he came from. We got more on John Hunt, and we got more on Machine, the Hadley Watson Mangler itself, and Tobe knew that we needed that because there wasn't so much given to us in Stephen King's work, and I think it takes a true visionary to know and give an audience what it is they want, and he did it every time with every single movie. And I'll paraphrase David Margulies, who's an actor from Ghostbusters 2. Treating people like dirt and treating people rudely is every New
God-given
York
right.
God-given right. And I think that should be said to any director. I mean, Chuck Russell, Rennie Harlan, Wes Craven, David Cronenberg, all of them. David Lynch, they all gave their all, so they expected everyone else to give their all too. And Vic said it best. I don't think slashers, well, I'd venture to say slashers wouldn't exist in the current form they exist in without him. Who knows where Freddy Krueger would have ended up, because
it's just like what Yeah, exactly. It's just like what we talked about with Romero. Who knows what would have happened with horror had Romero not made Night of the Living Dead. Now, what happens with slashers had Tobe Hooper not made Texas Chainsaw? By the way, has either of you guys seen Invaders from Mars or Life Force from 85 and 86?
I've seen Life Force. Life Force has got some really graphic nudity. It's got some really graphic gore in it. It's really, really good, but it hasn't aged well. If I can say that without being taken as a complete asshole. There are just certain movies that don't age well, and it has not.
Right.
It has not aged well, So, but it for its time, it was very good, and it was a different take on something that he hadn't done before. The alien mythos. You get it with Invader from Mars, some, but he expounded on it in Life Force, and I think it was a good film for its time, but it has not aged well. Not like The Mangler, not like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, not like a lot of the other ones. Poltergeist will stand the test of time. It's one of the few Tobe Hooper movies I can show the kids, and they'll watch it. And it's okay for them to watch it. Because
even though it's creepy as fuck. It really
and he had
is
to try
creepy
harder,
as fuck.
and that showed you. To me, I'm gonna add to what Vic said. It takes to me a true visionary to make something scary without charging the rating up to R and littering it with blood and guts. And it shows how he can make it scary on a budget, how he can still get those scares. And Tobe Hooper got the scares every single time, even the Toolbox Murders. I really loved his version of the Toolbox Murders.
Yeah.
Super good,
Yeah.
Compared to the original.
I like the original.
Well, I like the original too, but I like Tobe Hooper put his stamp on it. He felt it was worthy of his time.
Yeah.
So he put his stamp on it. And it's not been widely well received like a lot of his other stuff, but it's still a gem to me,
one of the ones that I also liked was his story from Carpenter's what the fuck's it called? Not Masters of Horror, although he did have two good ones on there. Body Bags. Yeah, we had talked about that before. His segment, I with Mark Hamill. It was good stuff.
Yes, it was. It's very hard to find on DVD. I actually stumbled on it in a store many years ago, and they wanted $40 for it on DVD.
Jeez.
It's very hard to find. It's very hard to find.
Speaking of Poltergeist, by the way, this is high praise, but Insidious, to me, would have never existed without Poltergeist. It was a lot like Poltergeist if you watch Insidious.
And I agree with that, and I'll have to take you one step further. I don't think that Freddy as a character, Freddy Krueger as a character, would have had such an indelible impact and become so memorable without his take on an origin story, in which obviously, it inspired my book to great effect.
Yeah.
I loved it, and I thought that it was great that he took a character that wasn't his and still made it his own to put his stamp on it. and made it something to be proud of. He's one of the few directors in horror history that have tackled multiple monsters.